So a group of scientists took some monkeys and they put them in a cage. At the top of the cage, they tied 5 golden, bright yellow bananas. Any intelligent monkey is only going to do one thing with a situation like that. They're going to go after the bananas. So these monkeys ran to the top of the cage, but the scientists were waiting for them. A bucket of cold water. So they threw the cold water on the monkeys. They screamed. They ran to the bottom of the cage. They all looked at each other like, what just happened? Something's in the way of the prize. So they tried a little strategy. They go to the left, to the right, and every time they went to the top of the cage, they got hit with cold water. Until at some point in the experiment, they no longer went after bananas. They just sat there looking at each other. So the scientists took one of the monkeys out of the cage, put a brand new monkey in the cage who had never been hit with cold water. And he looks around. What's wrong with these monkeys? Don't they see these delicious bananas at the top of the cage? So, as any intelligent monkey would do, he starts running to the top of the cage. I'm going to eat them by myself. But the other monkeys pull him down. They fight him. They grab him. They scratch him. They're like, no, you can't go after it. They keep him from going after the bananas. And one by one, the scientists take out a new monkey, put a brand new monkey in, until all 5 monkeys in the cage have never experienced the cold water treat. But none of them are going after the prize. Small steps to big change. Small steps to big change. Imagine growing up in a community where not much is expected of you. Imagine going to a school where there's only one working water faucet. Imagine growing up with things stacked already against you. Imagine having your father die before you were born. Imagine being told at the age of 6, you're the man of the house now. Imagine a community where the peace officers don't often bring peace. Imagine having to look out your door before you walk out the door in order to get into your car that you hope is still there. You see, when we think about small steps to big change, and when we think about the story of these monkeys, there's a lot of areas that you could say that you understand the story. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about many students that we've worked with them before through one story. Through one young man who fought through many obstacles. And we're going to call this student, Omar. And we're going to say that Omar, when I first met him, was in his 2nd freshman year. Now you've been thinking, that's pretty cool, right? You got freshman year of high school, and then your freshman year of college, right? But not that freshman year. I'm talking about another freshman year of high school. Now, why would an intelligent, bright, charismatic young man be completing a 2nd year of high school freshman year? Well, if we think about the monkeys in the cage, to imagine that the first monkeys that were in the cage, they were excited, they were motivated, they were like, we're going to get it, we're going to get it. Once they began to feel the pain of not being able to get it as easy as they thought, they were like, I quit. When the new monkeys came in the cage, they went after it as well, but the other monkeys said, no, you can't have it, it's not for you, it's not for you. And at the end, you have the monkeys sitting there like, what are we doing here? Why are we here? So this young man, when I first met him in his 2nd freshman year, he was trying to figure it out. But when I met him this day, this is the first day we met, we're at a tailgate. MOB Charities right across from Oakland Coliseum. I said, let's meet at a very informal event. He brought his mentor with him, Devin, and we just had a good time. I said, you know, there's an opportunity for you to have a club at your school that can help you to get what you really want out of life. But let me have you meet some other students. Let me have you meet some other young men. Don't let me tell you the story. Meet some other people like you who have also come through struggle, who have also come through challenge. And after that meeting, he said, okay, I want to go a little deeper. See, what I'm trying to do with the small steps is I'm trying to get him back from the place of, why am I here, to going after it, So the second time we met was an informational meeting at his school. Now, in this room, there are also other young men who are completing their second freshman year. And after this meeting went pretty deep. Like, this meeting was like pushing them deep into their heart, into their soul, into their guts to figure out how bad do you really want to change what's going on for you. Because if you're comfortable sitting at the bottom looking at the prize, no one's going to make you do it. But if you're tired of sitting here wondering, why am I not going after it, then maybe there's an opportunity to change. So we had a first meeting. Omar said we're going to go for it. We had a first meeting. He set up the expectations. Not for me to tell you what you need to have in that situation. He decided this is what we're going to do. If you're ready to be a part of this, we're going to have some expectations. And as every step of the way, you begin to hear his voice get louder. You begin to hear his voice get more powerful. You begin to see him step into a young man who was going after you. But you got to believe that it's not going to always be easy. Right? Even if you make the decision that you're ready for it, it's not always going to be easy. But what he decided, what he learned, was that if I began to create it and give back, if I began to create a space for other young men to let go of some of the pain, to let go of some of the problems, to let go of some of the chaos, to let go of some of the sadness, if I give them a space where they can come into the middle of the circle and know that it's safe, whatever you say here stays here. I don't have to like you very much, but I'm going to support you. And when he began to create a space for other young men, the group, the team, the community, the club began to grow. And he did also. So he went on his first rites of passage that summer. Rites of passage is an opportunity for young men to learn some steps from men, to begin to go through the journey of boyhood to manhood. What does it mean to be a man? Well, if there was no man in your house, how do you learn that? Do you learn it from TV? Do you learn it from the guys in the corner? From the books? Or do you make it up by yourself? So rites of passage is an opportunity to go into the woods and figure it out with a team. And sometimes he had to play the back role. He had to stand in the back sometimes and follow. Sometimes he got to step up and lead. And not only lead, but lead others. How powerful is that? How powerful is that to go from not even knowing why you're here to being able to help others figure out why they're here? 24-hour relay challenge. Students forming teams of 10, committing to walking and running for 24 hours. 3 in the morning, it's your turn. I'm tired, doesn't matter. I don't want to get up, so what? 4 in the morning, I don't want to do this. Yes, you have to do this. You made a commitment. How do you hold on to a commitment when your mind and your legs are telling you two different things? Your legs are saying, we're going to quit. But your head is saying, hey, I made a commitment. And I'm saying, hey, you stepped up for this challenge. This was a challenge. This is not the weekend adventure. This is a relay challenge. And you completed it. And the next morning, after the 24-hour relay challenge, NBC came out and they interviewed him. He said, what are you doing out here? He's like, well, I'm out here to learn about being in a team and being a teamwork and having somebody push me. He recognized that it was now his time to push himself forward through the steps that we were trying to push him from behind. So, college tour. So we took these young men on a college tour to say, hey, we're going to go out and we're going to let you see other people who have been through what you've been through, who come from the town you come through, and who are hungry and going after life. Because how do you know that it's possible if you don't see anybody doing it? How do you know that college is possible to go and then graduate if you've never seen anybody ever go to college? Better yet, if you've never seen anybody go or finish college. So he began to see other students. And during this first trip, there was only 6 or I think 7 young men on that trip. The next trip, because of the excitement, 38 students were like, I want to see some of that. What is happening in that club? What is happening in that organization? Why are these students more excited than we are? But they began to feel the fire. They began to recognize that, you know what? I think I do want something. I think I'm tired of sitting here wondering, why am I sitting here doing nothing? And he began to push them. He began to take leadership. The part of what Omar did in that time of him being in high school, while he was trying to figure it out. He began to find his voice. Here he's presenting the mayor of Oakland with one of our signature Got College shirts. Stepped up to her and said, "Hey, Mayor, I got something for you. I'm going to give you this shirt." He did give her the shirt. She did take it. Finding his voice. But you imagine, even at the point where you find your voice, you got your mind made up, you do want the bananas, you're going to go for them, you got to imagine that there's going to be things getting in the way. Sometimes there are going to be things that get in the way. But here we go. Graduation time. Here we are, class 2013. But look who's not in the photo. What happened? How did you get so close to the prize, to the goal?